The NRL needs to keep the independent doctor. I know, after the controversy last weekend, that may cause some friction within you guys towards me, but I do stand by what I just said, and we're about to get into it in the video. But of course, we're on the way to 5k. I'm hoping to hit it before Magic Round, which would be awesome, so let's try and make it happen. But now, let's get straight into the meat of the video. So round one is in the books, and it was one of the better ones in recent memory, but of course new rule changes, new implementations of rules, the referee, the bunker, they've all made their changes to the way the game's going to be played, and it's going to be officiated in 2023. And perhaps the biggest story to come out of the weekend was surrounding the independent doctor. Lots of confusion and lots of controversy. The two big ones, both Sebastian Kris and Kalen Ponga, had to leave the field because of the ruling from the independent doctor, and you could make the argument, but both sides were denied the chance to win their games. The Newcastle Knights especially, they need to get off to a fast start. Adam O'Brien's job is in jeopardy, and their season started with that disaster round one loss to the New Zealand Warriors, which could have turned into a win if Kalen Ponga was allowed to stay on the field. So a lot of ex-players and a lot of experts are coming out blasting the independent doctor ruling, but I am on the other fence. I think the NRL needs to keep the independent doctor, because while 2 points matter, because of course, like I just said, Adam O'Brien's job is on the line, I do feel that player safety, the RLPA, they want to give the players more money, they want to give them more time off, as Sticky said, but player safety has to be the NRL and the RLPA's priority, not just for player safety as well, but for the NRL itself. We have seen over the past decade or so, the NFL is still being sued billions and billions of dollars from ex-players because of the mistreatment, because of the concussions they suffered, because unfortunately, even 10 years ago, we did not know about the severity concussions had on people. Not just these players, but people long term. The NFL still feeling the effects of that, losing billions of dollars every year. And the NRL, guess what? They don't play with pads. They don't play with helmets. I know it's a very different game, but this one probably more intense and more fatigue. Americans, I can see you typing, stop whinging now. And it is unfortunately only a matter of time until one of these former players comes out and sues the NRL, because for every Fletch, Hindy and Matty Johns who made plenty of money during their careers, during long careers, and are continuing to make money from the NRL because of their broadcasting commitments, there are so many players who probably played only around 10 to 20 NRL games back in the 80s, back in the 70s, when all you did was punch blokes in the noggin, and they are going to be feeling the effects if they have not already. Even Big Willie Mason has come out on his podcast with The Scope, Justin Hurrow, and talked about how he is already feeling the effects of concussions, and he played during the NRL era. So it is only a matter of time until a player sues the NRL, whether that is completely out of spite or it's a necessity to be able to pay for some treatment to their head. It is the way we are going, and it's pretty much gonna happen no matter what. So the independent doctor has to stay around. We are lucky rugby league still even exists. The way concussions are being handled at the moment, it is absolutely crazy. If it wasn't for the history, if it wasn't for the passion, if it wasn't for the money, rugby league as a sport may not exist. We're even seeing at the junior level, kids are going to not be allowed to play full-on contact, full tackle rugby league until they hit high school, which is absolutely insane to someone like me who not even 10 years ago was running around playing under sevens and hitting blokes as hard as I could and running backwards, of course. But when you stand back and you think about it from a non-rugby league perspective, it makes all the sense in the world. Why put your head on the line for 2 points in a round one against the Warriors in Wellington? Why would Kalen Ponga risk that for the safety, for him to spend 5 more years with his family. Now, everyone wants to sit back and say, well, it should be up to the club doctors. I do not buy that at all. We saw as recently as last year in that final series, Cameron Murray was concussed. For the second time last year, he couldn't even walk off the field in the Allianz Opening, the final game of the season against the Roosters. Cameron Murray's the captain, and without him in that game, they'd probably still win it, even though it just turned into a full-on brawl. But the fact a player was concussed that badly and came back to play 9 days later just shows to me that clubs have to be less involved in the decision making. Now, I completely understand people, they don't want to see the game be stopped and they don't want to see their team lose on the weekend, but like I said, at the end of the day, in 20 years time, while Adam O'Brien may lose his job, and that's sad, that's rugby league in 2023, Kalen Ponga's head in 20 years time should not be the detriment of a round 1 loss to the New Zealand Warriors. Look at the bigger picture. I know Adam O'Brien's job's on the line, which sucks, which absolutely sucks, but this is rugby league. Next week, it could happen to the Warriors. What if the Warriors lose chance Nickel Clockstad against the Roosters? In my opinion, there's probably no chance to go on and win the game, but that's rugby league in 2023. We've had the 18th man in. We've got the independent doctor. The NRL are doing their best. I do think the independent doctor, it could be better, the system. I don't know why he's in the bunker. I get it because of the camera angles, because of the close-up vision, but in my opinion, the independent doctor should be the one at the ground talking to the players, because I do want to sit here and say I have faith in the clubs, but Adam O'Brien blew up in that press conference, so I'm not sure if he has Kalen Ponga's best interest at heart, as harsh as that sounds, and I'm sure it's not true. I can't sit here and be 100% certain. You're telling me that Cameron Murray was okay to play after 9 days? You're really going to tell me that? Selwyn Colbo had that Origin 3 concussion and didn't play for most of the rest of the season because he was that bad. You're telling me Cameron Murray was fit to play after 9 days? It's an absolute joke. Either in the UFC, even in cage fighting, they need 3 months off. Rugby league needs to get with the times. My solution is to keep the independent doctor, but I would have him at the games, work with the club doctors and be there to assess the players themselves. I know they don't have the camera angles, but they can sit there. They can sit in the box, for God's sakes. Everyone else gets a box seat. I know it'll cost the NRL a bit of money, but heck, it's going to save them a lot more to have an independent doctor at the ground than it is when Kalen Ponga in 20 years sues them because the independent doctor didn't take him off the field. Now, the player's going to sit there and say he's all right. Of course he is. He's getting paid $1 billion to play rugby league. Definitely not $1 billion. That's an exaggeration, but shout out to the RLPA. At the end of the day, guys, it's only a matter of time, and the NRL need to prevent the players coming back in how many years and suing them. Because if that happens, unfortunately, the NRL isn't as rich in the NFL, and it could be the end of our sport. Player safety has to come first. I think the independent doctor has to stay at the cost of maybe a decider or a grand final. Safety has to come first. Until we know more about concussions, we need the independent doctor. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know, what do you think? Is the independent doctor here to stay in the NRL for the foreseeable future? Let me know in that comment section below. Smash that like button, guys, if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the way to 5K, so smash that subscribe button. Let's try and hit it by Magic Round. But we've got a bunch more content. Tipping's coming out tomorrow, so let's get it. Do the big 3, and I'll see you in the next one.
And you will hear